Benson, my company Stat Canine Training. Just want to share a couple things with you. Jax came back in from, he was in for board and train. He came in for a week, a puppy. And then he came back today and I said, you know, he's coming in for boarding, but I asked his owners, I said, anything going on that I need to know about? And they said, well, you know, they just want reinforcement. But hello, whoever tuned in. But, you know, he lives with two dogs who are kind of, well, they're not as well behaved as Jax. And he's learned a lot of skill, and they don't know the skills. So he's being tempted by them. Hello, whoever tuned in. Hey, Bob, I can see you. I'm not sure who else is on. But anyway, so he's struggling a little bit due to the other dogs in the house that don't have the manners. So couple of things I noticed right away, and I want you guys, especially Bob, this is really important for you because Cato's still a pup, Jax is still a puppy. So first thing I'm going to tell you is, like, each week or every 2 weeks or just frequently, check the size of that collar. Make sure you can fit 2 fingers under the collar flat like this. If you see like flesh coming out on either side, it's probably too tight. Like Jax's collar was way too tight, and sometimes that can affect what he feels. And so, I mean, today I was like dialing up. I'm like, what? I'm at 19 and I'm just trying to get him to do it down. And then I checked the collar. I was like, first of all, it's too tight. And then secondly, I noticed, and this is what I really wanted to talk to you about, is the settings were wrong. So remember, I sent you this video when we first started this whole process. There's the M and the C. You want to see, when you look at your LCD right here, you look at it, on the left is an M, and that corresponds to the black button, right? So that's momentary. See, you get like a nanosecond of pressure. And then on the right of the number, you're going to see a C for constant or continuous, right? Okay, so you want to make sure that you see that C on the right side of the number, because that corresponds to the red button, which is the button that I've taught you to use. Jax's remote was flipped around, so whenever his owners were hitting the red button, it was set to momentary. So no wonder he was probably struggling to follow through. And they didn't say that he was struggling to follow through on commands, but they did say that there are a couple of bad influences in his house and they're making it difficult for him. But I can imagine that if you're using momentary, you're not getting anywhere, especially if distractions are really high in the house. So Bob, and also for Jax's owners and anybody, really, you want to make sure that you see the M and the C. And I sent out a video before training, so you can refer back to the common, you know, mistakes or problems that go wrong with e-collar. And this is the most important one. And the way, sometimes what will happen is it's just this little button in the back. It has an M and a C on it, and sometimes it just gets pressed. And if it does get pressed once or twice, it really messes up the whole setting of your e-collar. So best thing you can do is when you turn it on in the morning, just make sure that you see the M and the C. I always like to see the M and the C, because if you only see a C or you only see an M, something is not going to be consistent here. You're going to be locked on a number, or you're going to be locked on boost. You're going to be giving too much stim if you hit the button. So always you want to see the M and the C, and just check that fit. So Bob, make sure, check Cato's collar, make sure it's not too tight yet, and you know, adjust it accordingly. You want it to fit real snug so that the box is not moving at all, but you know, not so tight that you see flesh coming out, like it's like, you know, choking him out, because then he's not going to feel it at all either, and you're going to be wondering what in the world is going on. And then the other thing that I'll talk about real briefly is the prong collar and e-collar setup. Just make sure, guys, when you are out and about with your dogs, the prong collar is always first. It sits up way, way high, just below the base of the skull, real snug, but not too snug, because with Jax I had to add a link. It was too tight. And I always throw a couple of extra links in the box. So Bob, check your box. You might at some point need to add a link. And then just stay in touch. If things aren't right, or if it doesn't seem to be as effective, there might be a reason for that. So let me know. Okay guys, hope that's helpful. Have a great rest of the day.